I got a pop-up saying we're live.
All right, yeah, it says that we're live now. I guess we're live. Gabs.
We're not fuckers. We're live.
We're live. Welcome to another episode of OmniBros live, and late, and live, featuring...
We're not fuckers. We're live.
Fuck it, we're doing it live.
Welcome to another episode of
shit.
OmniBros live, and late.
And echoey.
My bad.
So Jess is here again, but this time he's not the host because I booted him out of that position. Oh. And of course we've got Gabe here to call everyone fuckers.
If anybody takes anything away from here, is that I like to call you guys fuckers out of love.
Is it out of love?
Omnifuckers.
Omnifuckers. It's like that comic Super Fuckers, but it's Omnifuckers. So tonight I decided, I put my foot down and I said, we're talking about Marvel Legacy, guys. And there was a resounding nothing.
A resounding
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all topical and talk about kneeling and taking a knee and stuff like that. But you said Legacy would probably be less of a distraction.
Yeah. So I that's what we're doing tonight, and it's really just because I read the issue yesterday and I was like, man, I enjoyed that. And then I told Jess to read it, and Jess read it, and he was like, that was pretty good. And here we are.
Yeah, it got me to read a bunch of comics, the Generations comics. I read those too. I dug the heck out of those.
Yeah, there were, and it's fun to note, like, because Jess, you even, when I told you to read it, you said, like, you were like, I'm not reading, like, anything Marvel except for, like, the fun stuff, like Gwenpool.
Right.
So nothing, like, actually big and you know, the bigger, more event-worth storylines. And then I, like, last night wound up giving you this huge reading list of, like, here's some shit. Check it out.
That was like a year's worth of reading.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was like everything from like Uncanny Avengers Volume 1 through Secret Empire. And I just told you, like, this is all kinds of stuff that you should check out. And it was because Jess was like, I don't know what a Kobik is, but it's pretty interesting.
Right. I know enough about all the major characters, and I know enough about their status to understand Generations and Legacy. So that was cool. But I did not know Kobik or her creation or what she's been up to. So I do need to do my research on that.
And that's kind of what I gave that a rundown and let you know. And then you were like, well, that sounds interesting. And
yeah, it's a huge, gigantic list of everything. So I don't know if I'm going to buy it or Comixology it or what I'm going to do, but I do want to read it all.
I think it's a worthwhile little venture. Not everything that I listed is like A+ material, but it's definitely worth looking at. But anyway, my point being, like, Jess hasn't been reading like any Marvel, and I told him to read this, and it made him intrigued to go back and read some stuff. And it seems like you're intrigued to see what's going to happen next too.
Yeah, based on the Legacy and the accompanying Generations books, I think it's I think it looks really good because they're they're meshing each version of the character together back in time. I mean, I guess we're going to go ahead and spoil it. We'll spoil Generations too.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I plan on this is eventually going to go into some full-on spoilers for everything. But yeah, go ahead on Generations.
Yeah, well, Generations one-shots all take the sort of all-new characters like Ironheart and Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, Miles Morales, and Sam Wilson, and they throw him back in time or mush him into that parallel universe, and we see the interaction between the two versions of the heroes back in time or in their parallel universe. And it's really cool. I thought especially cool was the Sam Wilson Captain America one shot.
Oh man, yeah, that was, I think, the first one I was like, dude, you should read this, of all of them.
Yeah, where Sam Wilson actually ends up, and this is Kobik is the one that's sending everybody back in time.
Yeah, so let me just real quick. This is a, hide your ears if you care about Secret Empire spoilers and stuff. But at the end of Secret Empires, spoilers now, after everything gets wrapped up, because it was some kind of fuckery dealing with the Cosmic Cube, and Kobik is the little girl personified Cosmic Cube. She decides to take a group of these legacy characters like Sam Wilson and Jane Foster and Kamala Khan and send them on these really personal journeys of more or less of self-discovery, of them meeting with the past versions of themselves. So she sent Sam Wilson, as Jess is mentioning, all the way back to World War II, and he actually meets, Steve Rogers back when he was first starting out as a super soldier.
Yeah, and he ends up reliving his life, or living his whole life.
Yeah.
Over again, only set back in the 40s, and the path he takes and how he ends up meeting Steve Rogers again in the future. It was, God, it was really well done. Who wrote that? Did Bendis write that, or no? Spencer wrote that.
Nick Spencer. It was kind of a coda on his entire Captain America run that he's been doing for the past couple years or so, since the beginning of the Sam Wilson series, right after Secret Wars, and he's he wrote all of Secret Empire, and that wrapped up, and we saw a little bit of what they were doing with those characters there, and then this issue just it pushes Sam into the next kind of his next era for his own character, and kind of the idea that he spouts out at the end of that issue is he tells who was he talking to? Was he talking to, I don't remember who it was, but he says, I think that she was trying to show us that it's time to, I think it was to Thor, it's time to stop living as a legacy of these other people, and to start our own legacies.
Mm-hmm.
And that just was the perfect note, because I read that right before I read the Legacy one-shot, and it was a perfect note heading into there and what this entire movement is about.
Yeah, somebody's asking for a list of what you recommended, so I'm going to actually post it real quick.
I don't think you can post that big of a list, though.
Oh, really? Let's see.
It cuts off after 200 characters.
I have to make a couple posts.
But
no, it did it all.
Oh, where'd you post it?
Oh, right. You're only allowed 200 characters. Okay. You're absolutely right. I'll have to make several. I'll have to make several ones.
Yeah, we'll get it out there. I can.
Yeah, we'll talk more about it, and I'll get it out there eventually.
Yeah, maybe. Well, Nick just said on Facebook, maybe you just post that on the link.
Oh, okay.
On the group.
Yeah, Jesse, say what? I'll post it on the link to the OmniBros on the OmniBros. Fuck, on the Facebook page.
On the fuck. But anyway, yeah. So I read that, and I really liked that note that they left off on, where he's like, we need to start making our own legacies. And then boom, I read the one shot, and it just worked so perfectly because Generations was kind of the connective tissue between All New, All Different and Legacy, which is, we just got kind of the it's kind of just a prologue, this single issue. It kind of works the same way as those .1 issues did back in the day.
Okay. Well, I have it on my iPad, and that's how I read it. And it's really good. I really enjoyed the heck out of it, especially the very beginning, where there's all different versions of like Black Panther, Iron Fist, Ghost Rider, Starfish, or whoever that is.
What are you going on about now? Star Brand?
Yeah.
Wait, Gabe, did you read the one shot?
This one.
No, I haven't, but I know all the spoilers.
Okay. All right. I didn't want to keep going on and then you not be able to say anything that you wanted to say.
No, keep going. I mean, don't worry about me.
Sorry, Jess, you're showing off your chocolate starfish.
I just thought this panel was really cool with all the ancient versions of current characters, Thor and the original Iron Fist and original Ghost Rider and stuff, Spirit of Vengeance. It was just really cool to see those guys back at the dawn of time taking on a Celestial.
With a mammoth.
Yeah.
As a mount, which was pretty dope. And yeah, again, anyone who might have joined late, this is full on spoilers. Like we're not, if you don't want to know anything about spoilers in this issue, you haven't read it yet, don't watch this, I guess.
Yeah, we're spoiling the hell out of Legacy. And there's two majorly cool spoils.
There's a lot of good spoilers in this. I like how all the Neanderthals are trying to lift up a hammer.
Yeah.
It in a way, when I read that part, I kind of imagined, went back to the beginning of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
With the monolith. And I just imagine like the music, where they're trying to lift the hammer. And then Odin comes and lifts it. But the thing I really like about that is when Odin comes and he lifts the hammer, he's like pissed at the hammer because he's like, why doesn't it come back to me? And then, what was it? Oh, thank you.
I'm going to keep them in here because the lady's coming.
Okay. Well, my wife gave me chicken for dinner, but also left the dog in here who will try to eat my chicken. So this is a difficult situation. But whoever, I think he was talking to the Phoenix at the beginning.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's because every time you throw the hammer, it's looking at that as a chance for it to get away. Like it doesn't want to answer to you. And I think that kind of ties into what Jason Aaron, who wrote this one-shot, has been doing in his Thor run and claiming that the gods have always been unworthy.
Okay.
No, that sounds good. I like that idea. I think Aaron has just a fantastic grasp on the idea of Thor and kind of the deconstruction of the meaning of the hammer and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, and then in the Generation Thors, it's revealed that Allfather got it on with the Phoenix once, and he wants to again, but she's not up for it.
Some good terminology. Which that Generation issue was also written by Jason Aaron, because all those issues were written basically by whoever was writing that series. But
yeah. And they were, gosh, they were all really well done.
Did you have other Generations one-shots you wanted to talk about before we go balls deep in Legacy?
Let me see what ones I read.
Did he ever reveal or figure out like what started the Generation one-shots? Like what caused these people?
That was I mentioned a little earlier that Kobik sent them on this journey.
Okay.
And the thing is, we would have known that already, but I think that the Generations one-shots started before the end of Secret Empire.
Oh, they did.
Like, you get the first one that came out, if I recall correctly, was the Hulk one. And it just, like, it starts with Hulk, like, Amadeus just being dropped into, I think it was in the desert or something, and he's all of a sudden face-to-face with Bruce Banner. And you don't have any context because at that point, Secret Empire hadn't ended yet. And then once Secret Empire ended, and the end of the last issue pretty much has Kobik saying, like, now I'm going to give y'all this gift. And the gift was a journey. And it actually says that, like, this gift is a journey or something like that. And then it leads into it. But, you know, Marvel has a bad habit of publishing things out of order.
No, I was about to say it must have been just another situation of Marvel yet again putting out titles after or before the crossover finishes up.
Or like the time when they literally published an issue of Hawkeye out of order, like before another issue of Hawkeye came out.
That's ridiculous.
Like if it was 18 or something, they published, actually I think it was 20. They published 20 before 19 came out.
Well, it's also the same way they published all the Marvel Now stuff before Secret Wars was over. And you already had like Doom and
Yes.
the Iron Man costume and all that stuff.
And the same thing happened with Civil War II. Before Civil War II ended, they'd already started putting out series like the Ironheart Iron Man series, and they didn't even tell you why Iron Man wasn't there.
Yeah.
Let's see. I read the Captain America one, the Spider-Man one. Did not read the Captain Marvel and Ms. Marvel, or Captain Marvel and Captain Marvel, or Iron Man and Ironheart. I did read Hawkeye and Thor and Wolverine. That was really good. Wolverine and All New Wolverine. And then I did not get a chance to read Phoenix and Jean Grey yet.
The Phoenix and Jean Grey one is kind of funny because it happens at like a weird place to where when young Jean goes back to visit original Jean, it's like original Jean is like on the beach having just a relaxing day basically, but it's happening amidst a time where like there was a lot of shit going on for the X-Men. It was like, why are you on the beach right now? Like that was the weird part about that. It was a decent issue overall because it worked really well with what the Jean Grey ongoing series has been doing, but it was just weird continuity wise. Out of all the ones that you mentioned not having read, the one that I really, really recommend is well, fuck, now I forgot which one I was going to say.
Phoenix and Jean Grey.
Is there Jay Lewis?
Iron Man and the Ironheart.
Iron Man and Ironheart
Okay.
is really good. If you like seeing alternate versions, like past or future versions of characters, the Ironheart one-shot is really good.
I liked how in Generations they were sent back in time to a time period, and they knew they weren't supposed to mess with the time stream, so they could barely, while engaging and helping the hero fight, they were barely able to tell him anything about themselves because they knew that would mess the time stream up. And so I liked how they danced around that, especially in Hawkeye and Wolverine and All New Wolverine.
In the Spider-Man one, Miles has to dance around the subject a lot, but he's not very good at being coy. And
no, I noticed that.
like straight up, like first moment he meets Peter, he's like,
Spider.
yeah,
Spider-Man.
He's like, you have spider sense, and he's like, what are you talking about? Yeah, you're Spider-Man. What? And then he's like, I'm Spider-Man too. Like, you're like, dude, probably not the best idea right now.
Yeah.
But that issue, despite the stupidity right there, actually turned out really well done. It has Miles visit Peter during the storyline where he's trying to get, like, Aunt May is sick and he's trying to get a cure from Doc Ock, and he has the building dropped on him. And is that issue like 50 or something? Is that cover where he's literally just trying to lift a building off of his shoulders? I have to look up the actual issue.
Oh, I thought 50 was Spider-Man No More.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. I don't remember what issue this is, but it's pre-100 for sure. And it's the one where he's just like got a whole freaking building on his shoulders, and Peter's like telling Miles, like, you know, because Miles flat out is like, yeah, I know you from the future. And then Peter's like, oh, well, have I told you the story about that time when like Aunt May was dying and I had to go get a cure from Doc Ock and he dropped a building on me and then I had to fucking keep it up. And and he's like, yeah, because that just fucking happened and I feel like I'm almost dead. And it was pretty well done, like kind of the emotional response that he had, just being so wound up about everything he's just gone through. And he's like, I'm sitting here literally waiting to find out whether my aunt is going to die or not.
Yeah.
And it gives like a really good perspective on that scene. And then that really, like, that was why it was one of the first ones I recommended you to read. I was like, yo, dude, read the Captain America and Spider-Man ones.
And I did what you said.
Jess is an obedient dog.
I am well trained.
Hey, Jay Lewis in the chat wants to know if there's a reading order to any of these.
For the Generations one-shots?
Yeah.
Not particularly. I think as long as you read the Captain America one last, that's all you really need to do. Like, it starts with Hulk, but that doesn't really need to be the first one. But it definitely ends with Captain America. As long as, you know, if you want to know what is going on and why it's happening, you just want to know what happens in the very end of Secret Empire.
So basically, you finish Secret Empire first.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to read Secret Empire, like if you're not interested in that storyline, and you don't want to do all the back reading, and you don't really care about, you know, Hydra Cap and all that stuff, you can just read like the last couple, like half of an issue of the final issue there, just to see kind of how they start the journey that happens during Generations. And then read all the Generations one-shots, end with the Captain America one, and the Captain America one pretty much is a straightaway into the Legacy one-shot.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I can say that so far all the Generation books are worth a purchase. I found them all really good, really well done.
Well, hopefully they come in some kind of like omnibus or like nice hardcover that.
Yeah, I was going to mention they are doing a hardcover, and I'm debating getting it. It depends on what's coming out at that time. But I liked it enough that I would consider it. There's also a hardcover coming out for the Legacy one-shot that includes, as well as the one-shot, a bunch of primer pages, which were like 3-page stories for each of the characters that's, you know, having a new direction during Legacy. And that's getting a hardcover that's oversized. It's kind of ridiculously expensive, but I almost liked the story enough that I'm considering buying it anyway. But it's like, it's going to be a $40 book for a one-shot and some primer pages.
Okay. Yeah, because I want those things as regular books. I read on my iPad under protest. I generally like to read a regular book.
No, I know what you mean, and that's why I buy the physical copies of so many books that I love, because I'm like, I'd rather have it physically.
Yeah.
In hardcover, in my preferred format. But I read it first as a, you know, way to figure out what I want in that format.
What kind of chicken you got?
Fried.
Nice.
Yeah, she made it herself.
Ooh, home cooked fried chicken. You should marry that. Oh, you already did.
I need some ketchup or something.
Little sriracha
I used all the sriracha, unfortunately.
on your ice cream?
What?
Nothing.
Is ketchup on fried chicken a thing? Is that a real thing? People do that on purpose?
I don't see why not.
Is it the same as putting ketchup on steak?
No. I will definitely say that it's not the same thing. Ketchup on steak is an insult to the steak because you're pretty much comparing it to a hamburger.
Yeah.
So it's fried chicken like a hamburger?
Fried chicken is like fried chicken.
Okay.
I compare fried chicken to French fries because they're both fried finger foods.
Okay.
But I have Whataburger spicy ketchup,
Ooh, that's good stuff.
which goes on everything. Hey, oh man, she popped in. I was gonna ask her, and then she disappeared. But
Ask her for
anyway,
ketchup.
did we have anything else about Generations and the one shots? Gabe, did you have any questions, or Jess, any more comments about that?
Nope. Just that I loved them all, and they were great. And I would like to have them in a hardcover format or some kind of trade, because I want to reread them again. They're all worth rereading, I think. The ones I read, anyway. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about the beer truck and Legacy. That surprised the heck out of me.
Gabe, did you have any inquiries?
No, man, I'm good. I think you guys are fucking balls out thorough with that stuff. Good. At first, I thought they were just random ass one shots that really had no meaning or kind of like method to the madness. But apparently,
Oh yeah, no, they're really cool.
tensions after Secret Empire finishes up. So
It's really just it's meant to be a celebration of these characters and tell you, that these characters have their own legacies and that they're respecting both these new characters and the old versions as well. And that's what's going forward, and telling them like, hey, we need to respect both and move forward with both and create new legacies and return to old legacies and all that good stuff. And that brings us to the Legacy one-shot, which Jess already started showing off. Of course, it starts with the, I didn't know that we were going to go backwards either, so that's okay. But it starts off with the introduction of the Avengers of 1 million BC, which, yes, historically is not correct because obviously humans and humanoids would not have existed that long ago. But this is not real universe. This is the Marvel universe where you have a sorcerer fucking supreme. And
oh yeah, he's there. That's right.
yeah, that was a really cool character. But anyway, before I say anything about that, but like it's the Marvel universe. You have mutants, you have Venom, symbiote that can infect fucking everything, and you have Guardians of the Galaxy with a talking raccoon and tree, and with very limited vocabulary, and all these things. So there's no realism that should really be there, in the Marvel universe. So I heard, I've seen people be like, there shouldn't be humans in 1 million BC, and I say, why are you concerned about this? Like, stop worrying about the stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff.
That's where the suspension of disbelief ends. Is people?
Yeah, like that's why are you judging things so harshly about realism when you're in a goddamn comic book universe?
Yeah, I thought that was extremely cool.
It was cool.
Those guys exist back then.
It was like the way that Jonathan Hickman's unfinished Shield series was really cool when I first read it, and I was like, whoa, Shield goes back to like fucking ancient Egypt. This was that same level of cool. I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
There's these versions of these characters, like these legacy characters from prehistory. And I want to say that I don't believe that some of them actually belong in that, like, that they're necessarily human people, because like they're not Homo sapien, rather, because obviously Odin, who's in there, is a god. There's a kind of curious sequence in there, I believe, in that issue that mentioned like a Wakandan planet.
Yeah, I didn't get
So
that. That was interesting.
Guessing
that's
that
not-
the Black Panther is not of Earth, at least that original one. Spirit of Vengeance is obviously a spirit, and he has a mammoth. The Phoenix is, you know, also a entity that overtakes someone. There's one, like, you know, Cro-Magnon man who is Starbrand, which makes sense because the Starbrand is a force that kind of attaches itself to a human at any given time in history, and so at that time it would have been Cro-Magnon. And what else is there? There's Iron Fist. There's like an ancient Iron Fist. There's the Sorcerer Supreme at the time is actually Agamotto.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was one of the cooler little tidbits, is they actually call him Agamotto. And I was like, okay, wow, that's neat. That was a good little idea. But the one thing that they didn't have in there wasn't a 1 million BC version of the Orb, which is like in everything that Jason Aaron writes, is the Orb, which is the character that has a giant eyeball for a head.
Oh,
That's not ringing a bell with me.
he was the guy from what was that bullshit series?
He was in Original Sin,
Yeah.
but he's also appeared in pretty much everything that Jason Aaron has written in some capacity, even if it's just him popping up and being a dumbass. So I was very surprised that there was not a 1 million BC version of the Orb out there.
I'm so out of it. I'm not recognizing the Orb. I recognize everybody else, but not the Orb.
He's literally just a dude with a giant eyeball for a head.
Oh, cool.
He I don't know if it's his first appearance, but I know that Jason Aaron first wrote him back in his ongoing Ghost Rider series.
Well, I remember when Jason Aaron was doing Original Sin, he didn't want to use the Orb, but I think he mentioned Marvel kind of pushed him in that direction of using them. So maybe he's just tired of using that character.
I don't know.
Some of these spoilers online, man. There's some really cool stuff that came out of that book. I'm gonna have to read it for myself.
Yeah, and then like Jess said, they also showed there's a Celestial in there that showed up 1 million BC, and it looks like, and forgive me if I don't have the issue in front of me, but forgive me if I'm wrong, but it seems like that Celestial is kind of the thing that's coming back, that's causing people to, the people who are like the modern versions of all those prehistory characters that we were just seeing, are having visions. So like the Ghost Rider, Robbie Reyes, is seeing it, and Starbrand is all of a sudden like acting weird, and they go to South Africa because I guess it's like buried there.
Right.
Celestial is, and something's definitely happening with it, and it looks like it's about to come back out, and you know, that definitely means something big. Then there's you know, Doctor Strange mentions, like, I don't remember who it was that says it to him, but they're like, do you ever have dreams that you're a caveman? And he's like, yeah, all the time. Like, it was just kind of a funny exchange, but it's like legit, like what they're talking about.
Yeah, and his bushes protect him from Norman Osborn.
Yeah. He's like, I couldn't get past your bush or something like that. Like, yeah, don't take my bush lightly. But the most of the rest of the issue is a lot of little segments that kind of reminds me of those Point One issues, where it's just a little teaser for all the new ongoing titles and like what each title is going to be doing. So you have, like, I think there's, you know, stuff with Thor and stuff with Spider-Man and stuff with like some of the other characters, and it like gives you just a little bit of an idea of where these characters might be heading. in the next few months. But all the while, there's this little story thread that's going on that has Loki in the modern day kind of assembling an army of frost giants and getting ready and telling them, like, hey, we need to go get this thing. And they don't tell you anything about what it is. And then all of a sudden it kind of comes to a head where the Avengers are infiltrating some sort of bunker, I guess.
Yeah, like a Area 51 type thing where Shield's trying to get in there too and protect it.
And then all of a sudden the frost giants are showing up, and so the Avengers have to fight them off, and one of them grabs this crate that Loki was, the one that he was asking for, and he grabs it and he runs off. And this is the part that Jess has been squirming in his pants to talk about. The beer truck reveal. And he, the frost giant runs out and gets hit by the truck, right?
This beer truck that had been following the Shield agents forever.
Yeah.
And he gets hit and wasted by this beer truck. Yeah.
And then you see someone come out of the truck and they have a brief conversation. And the guy, I think the frost giant says something like, you're dead, human. And then the person just responds like, not anymore, bub. And then it goes to, OG Wolverine decapitating this frost giant.
And it was cool.
Yeah, it's like really well portrayed through the Assad Ribic artwork, which is just incredible throughout. This gruesome decapitation, and then Logan grabbing the crate and opening it up, and you just get this splash page of Wolverine holding an Infinity Gem, which
that's so cool. That's a cool.
It's pretty cool. It's number one. It's cool to have Logan back, and there's a little image, and it shows the young Jean Grey visiting the his grave, the statue, the adamantium statue, and it's torn open.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna find out, I guess how he got out of that and what happened there. But apparently he's been in a beer truck chasing down Shield and stuff and trying to grab this Infinity Gem. And
yeah,
it was a very smile-inducing scene.
So that's 2 Infinity Gems that are popping up in this book then, right?
Yeah, there's definitely more than one. And this kind of deals with what's been going on for the past several months in Guardians of the Galaxy, where Gamora has actually started to search for the gems. And not until the most recent issue, no one else was really having her back on this. They were all just yeah, whatever, doing their own thing. And this all new, all different Guardians of the Galaxy so far, it really has been a bunch of loosely connected one-shots that kind of explain what's been happening with certain characters since Bendis's run. And it's kind of been making up for some of the lack of plot that Bendis has had and establishing this new status quo for each individual member. And then the latest one has, at the end of it, here's a little spoiler, because I think hopefully it'll get people excited to read this book, where Quill is okay, it's time, we're going to start hunting for the gems. And it's just continue reading Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's a little teaser saying the hunt for the Infinity Gems or whatever starts next month. So this, Wolverine having a gem, and the other gem that appears in there, I think that Loki had? I don't even remember at this point.
Yeah, Loki has it on his staff.
Yes, so kind of like in the movies, is tying into what they're already doing in the Guardians of the Galaxy series at the moment, and they're going to be continuing to do going forward, just continuing the search for more of those gems for whatever purpose that Gamora's got. And then the issue Legacy one-shot has one more big teaser at the end, which I know Gabe would be extremely excited about.
Yes, he would.
I'm getting excited already. Marvel knows how to draw me in.
Yeah.
With these Infinity Gems.
Gems, and then this last reveal is a wet dream for Gabe.
Yeah.
It is. It's the person who's been narrating the whole storyline. Right? Is that the thing we're talking about?
Yes. Yeah. So you get up to like the final pages and you find out that the narrator the whole time is actually Valeria Richards, the daughter of Sue and Reed Richards.
Yes.
And there's a little sequence of her and Franklin in space, and they're just, she's, I don't, what does the final narrative say, Jess? I know you've got the issue open.
My name is Valeria Richards, and I'm closing my eyes now and imagining my way home. I'll see you when I get there. Right here. You can see it on my iPad.
That's cool.
Yeah,
and
that's
the logo on the bottom. That's perfect. That's a great way.
Yeah.
Because then this is supposed to all lead up into the 2-in-1.
Mm-hmm.
One that's coming out soon.
Right.
Because there's a little teaser for 2-in-1 in there as well, where Johnny and Ben are talking.
Right.
It ends with Johnny flying off and doing the big 4 in the sky.
I need this book. I'm gonna go get it at work on Saturday.
Dude, it's legit. I like those two big reveals were like the type of things that really made me like giddy. Like I'm like, oh my god, like I'm a little kid again. And it's the type of stuff that really makes me not mind when publishers kind of take away characters for a while, because it makes me appreciate them.
Yeah, and it also shows that there's their highs and there's the lows, there's peaks and valleys with these kinds of storylines, and it's things like this that just really like I need to clean the front of my pants. Like it really helps turn everything around when big things like this happen, and it's a new step forward into the next chapter of the Marvel universe. So this is finally a good thing coming out. And I know everybody online in the group is talking about this. Oh, this is Marvel's rebirth, and I don't see it like that, but I think it's a good thing that you have this new like starting point. I think this issue is the new. How do I get into Marvel? Where do I start reading comic books? And you can kind of point them to this issue or this series and help it kind of branch off to everything else. So
it's I don't mind the comparison between this and Rebirth, because it's obviously something that's going to happen.
Right.
Because they both kind of have the same idea to them, like having a big one-shot that is supposed to be the first step in a new direction, where in both cases they were bringing back old characters and reverting to like kind of an older status quo in both ways. And I've been very vocal about this. I believe that Legacy did it 100% better than Rebirth did, because for me, Rebirth was kind of a cop-out. Like, and I'll say, like, I enjoyed the issue. I enjoyed it enough that I bought the oversized hardcover version, but it was just the idea of using, and at this point it's not even spoilers anymore, but using the Watchmen characters. It's not just a lot of people are like, oh, they're using the Watchmen characters that are not supposed to be touched, yada, yada, yada. To me, using those characters is just lazy, because what they've done is they're like, okay, well, we did some stuff that people weren't happy with, and instead of trying to write a story that takes care of it and puts us back into a positive place that people are going to be happy with, let's just take a character that we really shouldn't be using, pull him into this universe without any explanation, and have him act as a giant, like, Deus Ex Machina, just this scapegoat to erase everything that we don't want to deal with, and to literally blow up the character that they had created, which was supposed to be, Pandora, which was supposed to be this kind of mysterious character that had some answers to, why the New 52 universe came about. And Doc Manhattan literally fucking kills her in the Rebirth one-shot. And to me, that was just a giant slap to the face of like, yeah, fuck everything we were going to do. Like, we're taking the easy way out. And now we're going to inexplicably use these characters, pull them into this universe, don't tell you any reason why. I'm sure a reason why will come later. And make them do things that are pretty uncharacteristic of themselves, and their narrative from their own book, and have them for some reason create the New 52 and then uncreate it, kind of.
Oh,
And to
well,
me, that was
that's-
just really legacy. Whereas on the other hand, Marvel, whether you like the legacy one shot or not, they're not trying to unwrite things that they did. You know, they're using that what they've done, and they're accepting the fact that it's already done, that it's been written, that it's happened. And even if they pulled this entire story out of their ass, which could be true, I don't care, one way or the other, they're not trying to backstep, and they're not trying to use a back door. They're not trying to erase things. They're going forward using what they've already done. They're going forward and respecting the fact that it's there. And that's the same thing that they've done for years. Like, even with some of the storylines that people are generally not that big of fans of, like the Clone Wars and Onslaught and stuff like that, they've embraced that stuff, and they've talked about it, and they've mentioned it over and over and over again. Because it's there. It happened. It happened to these characters, and these characters remember it. The readers remember it, so they're not going to act like it's not there. And that's what they're doing again. They're like, you know, a lot of people may have not liked All New, All Different, but it happened, and we're not going to pretend it didn't, because that would be kind of insulting to everyone involved.
Yeah, that's kind of the difference, you know, the main difference between, I guess, the publishing style of DC versus Marvel. DC is pretty good, pretty consistent about resetting their universe. For Marvel, just kind of keeps pushing forward with mistakes and trying to turn the mistakes around into something else, as opposed to just resetting your universe or doing another Crisis or anything like that.
Yeah, everything's cool with me. I just like everything.
Yeah.
I like life. I
It's
like
also-
comic books. All comic books are good.
I like this because I'm now looking forward to Marvel Comics again. It's been a while, and now this is kind of, you know, kind of relit that fire of enthusiasm that was kind of smoldered after shelving the Fantastic Four after Secret Wars. And that's what I like about this kind of stuff. If it can reignite my interest again, then I'm sure this can help create new readers and bring lapsed readers back and things like that. And the more readers and the more comics that are sold, the better it is for the industry and for comics.
Yep.
The only reason I want to say, like, the only reason that I really rag on Rebirth is because I care. And it's like when you do something wrong and your parents like, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. That's the way that I feel, because I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, I am kind of mad, but I'm more disappointed that, like, they didn't try. Like, it's like you have so many good talents in front of you and so many great ideas and so many amazing characters, and instead you just take a back door and try to find the easy way out to just make people happy, instead of being experimental, instead of being original. And that's what they did. Like, even though I had a lot of qualms about the New 52, during that last year, the DCU stuff with, like, that's where Omega Man came from. That's where a lot of stuff came from, actually, that last year of titles. And they just kind of threw that away. But that was where they were actually trying to do things that were not normal, like they were different. And the beginning of the New 52, they were doing the same thing. They had, like, the Dark line that brought out, like, Demon Knights and iVampire. They were trying new things, and I respected them for it. And a lot of those new things, like Demon Knights and iVampire, were the better books of the New 52. And now when they go into Rebirth, and I'm reading like 3/4 or more of the publishing line of DC, just their main books, and I'm also reading all of Young Animal and all of the Hanna-Barbera stuff. But of the core books, I'm reading about 3/4 of them, and about, I want to say, maybe 1/4 of all the core books are truly great books, and the rest of it is like good to okay of what I'm reading. The truly great books, even those, they're not really doing anything that's standing out as anything original. And that's why I'm sitting here and I'm like, come on, guys, like, do something that makes me, you know, surprised, and do something that makes me say, like, I haven't seen this time and time before, because I'm, you know, I'm like a parent, and I'm looking at my child, and like, I know that you can do better than this, and you're doing really well, but you can do more, and I believe you can, and I know you can, and I can't wait to see when you actually do it. My dogs are fighting outside.
Riley said, I'm not mad at you. I'm
not mad, Chewy. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Make sure Ace the Bat Hound doesn't poop on your rug again.
Oh yeah, she has not had a poop in the house since then, so that's been good.
Riley got a fried chicken. I got pizza.
Oh, my
I'm
favorite.
Starving now.
Pepperoni and jalapenos.
Yeah, it's pepperoni, jalapenos, and olives. I don't know where the olives came from, but whatever. This needs pineapple on it. Would be better.
How about peas and mayonnaise?
What?
Oh no.
How about homeless dick and crack?
It's my favorite afternoon snack. How'd you know?
I should go get some pizza. We just had some, and now I'm starving.
Me too,
I
man.
had some yesterday when I was peeling plastic off of cars.
But I like the idea of them using the Watchmen characters. I'm as much of a Watchmen fan as I am. I'm not a purist that doesn't think they should never be used again.
Yeah,
But
I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I'm interested to see how it all shakes out.
Me too. I mean, maybe Dr. Manhattan didn't do the New 52. Maybe it's something else. But you know, I'm in for the long run. I'm in for the haul.
That's not what gets me about it, because I'm not like, I'm a little bit of me is like, oh come on, like why are you using these characters? It's just, it's too easy to use those characters. Like it's too easy, because I can imagine like the going into the writer's room and being like, all right guys, you know, what are we gonna do? And someone just pops out like, you know, they're like, we need to go into a new direction. We need to get things back how they were. We want to get things, you know, people really didn't really dig the New 52 too much. And they want things back how they were. How do we do that? And then they're like, well, we kind of introduced some concepts that could go back and like explain things, and maybe we undo it, you know, narratively. And then someone else is like, Watchmen. And they're like, what? Dr. Manhattan can just fucking erase everything. And they're like, well, that's easy. Let's do it. And they're like, okay, go for it. And we'll hide it under like a 2-year mystery. So we don't really tell anyone what's going on, but we titilize them with the idea that Dr. Manhattan is like destroying everything that happened and unwriting the DC universe as they know it. And it's like, okay, that's a cool idea, but like, that's not what they were narratively setting up beforehand. And that's what really gets me.
Okay, I'm gonna go get pizza. I'll be right back.
You're a pizza.
I'm gonna get some more pizza in a minute. Let's get back. Yeah, I mean, they totally wasted Pandora. I thought she was gonna be a much bigger, interesting character for the DC universe, and she ended up just being like some kind of like lackey nonsense character. Because in the first
they just Rorschached her.
She was hidden in the background, and she seemed like she was gonna be somebody who's pulling the strings and a big player, and she just.
And she was the character that, like, during that scene at the end of Flashpoint, where it shows like the old universe becoming the new universe.
Because she was the one that was constructing it or something.
She was in the back, like she was in the background, like her face is there, and you're like, who is that? Like, what does she have to do with this?
Right.
And then, like you said, they were teasing her, and then Trinity of Sin came about. And that's kind of where it started going downhill, where it was like, they're not really using her how they probably meant to.
Yeah, because she was, like I said, she was hidden in every first issue where nobody could see her, and she seemed like she was powerful, and then, you know, she had something to do with the Phantom Stranger, and it just became...
It was like she was the Watcher in the universe.
Right.
That's...
Phantom Stranger is when you sit on your hand and let it go numb.
that was a good one. but yeah, therein lies my issue with all that. And also another thing like that I really don't dig with the way that they're bringing in the Watchmen characters is like narratively, it doesn't make sense to me. Like unless they really give us a reason why everything's going the way it is, because like you leave off the end of the original Watchmen series, and it's like Adrian's like, all right, well I did my shit and I saved the world. Doomsday Clock is back to 0 or whatever. Don't worry about it, everyone. We're all good to go. And then Doc Manhattan's like, okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna go off and do something different now. Maybe like make some life.
Are you still talking about this?
Yes, Jess. Jesus.
I went to get pizza so I could avoid this conversation.
So anyway, I'm talking about the end of original Watchmen. And Doc Manhattan's like, I'm going to go, try something new, maybe create some life. And he goes off and he does that. And what they're insinuating here is that I guess when he goes off, either he doesn't go off or he goes off and comes back, or he's not satisfied or something. And he comes back and then I guess he comes back to Adrian. And Adrian's like, this is what I imagine going down. This is all conjecture, but it's like Doc Manhattan comes back and he's like, hey, Adrian, what's up? So I went out there and, dude, there's so much shit out there. Like the universe and multiverse, it's so much. And Adrian's like, oh, do tell. And he's like, well, there's like 52 parallel Earths and all of them are crazy. And there's like superheroes. There's more people like who have powers like me and like other things. And Adrian's like, oh, really? Yes, let me show you. And he's like, this is, the DC universe as seen in Action Comics number 1 through 900 something. Here's Superman and Batman. And Adrian's like, let's fuck their shit up. And Doc Manhattan just fucking shits all over the place. That's what I'm imagining the situation is, because that's the only thing I can think of that happened. And I'm sure that Jeff Johns is going to give us a better explanation of this thing, whatever it is that Doc Manhattan came back and whatever the reasoning is why they're doing things to the DC universe than what I just came up with. But until that's what I have in my mind, and that's why I'm sitting here like, why? What are you doing? And that's the way that Dr. Manhattan talks in my head.
I didn't get more pizza too.
God damn it, guys! I don't even have pizza.
You have chicken.
I ate all my chicken.
Well, order a pizza, and we can watch it get delivered on live.
I can't order a pizza. I've got to order like $1 million worth of comics next month.
That's no joke, man. That shit's scary. Next month is fucked up. It's not even just like all the Omnibus and stuff. Like that Akira box sets or hardcover set's going to be a big hit in the wallet.
I had that pre-ordered from like fuck knows when, like back when it first went up, and it was pretty cheap, and everyone was like, "Jump on it," and I was like, "Okay," and my Amazon account was hacked, and I can't even log into it, so I can't cancel the order. But I know it's still coming to me because my Switch came in, which I also ordered before my account was hacked. So this box set's going to come to me, which means I'm going to get charged for it without any choice. And I asked my wife, I was like, hey, can this be my Christmas present? And I'll just like keep it in the closet until December. And she was like, no. So that was a hard reality.
Send it back if you don't want it? I mean, do you want it?
I do want it. Like, I'm already prepared for it. I sold my paperbacks, but it's just like I could have ordered it later or something, and now I'm having to make up for it because like with that and everything that's coming out at the first week, just the first week of October, I'm already like 30% beyond my budget. So I'm basically going to be making up for that in the rest of the month. Or, and this is a big or, I have a bunch of Legos that I found that I'm going to try and sell.
Damn, it's getting, you got to tighten that belt when it comes down to having to sell Legos to survive.
Yeah, really.
It's going to be difficult because it's like a 18-gallon tub full of pieces, and I have to sort through all of them and figure out which ones belong to which sets, and then sell the sets. Otherwise, I'm selling the whole bucket. And I feel like I get less money for the bucket as like a unit.
Where are you going to sell the Legos?
Probably on Crypto's Den or on a store that's near me.
Uh-huh. I just cracked a tooth.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What kind of pizza are you eating? Mayonnaise and rocks?
Fuck. There's another $3,000. Replace this tooth. Fortunately, it's not hurting right now.
That sucks, man. I hope you're okay.
I know. I hope so too. I'm just kind of waiting for it to start throbbing. Well, that's a buzzkill.
The whole month of October is just destroying bank accounts.
Yeah, we're not even in October, and Jess is already out like $3K for debt. Like,
this couldn't have come at a worse time, I swear.
That tooth replacement can wait. We got books to buy in October.
yeah, it's fucking Justice League International is way more important than a tooth.
And then November starts off pretty rough too.
My last I looked at, my November and December and January are looking a lot lighter. But the thing that fucks with me is like I forget to pay attention to smaller publishers, and so I'm like, oh yeah, there's like 4 Omnis from Marvel and DC, and then a few like paperbacks and hardcovers that I'm gonna get, and then all of a sudden it's like Boom Studios is like, hey motherfucker, remember that you wanted to get that Power Rangers hardcover? I'm like, god damn it. And that's like a $75 book. So,
oh.
But I'm committed.
Yeah, you are going
because
to
I
be.
really, really enjoy that series.
Yeah, because that Hellboy in Hell comes out on the 11th as well.
Yeah, man. No collection is complete without that. Like, even if you don't buy any Hellboy stuff, you at least got to have Hellboy in Hell.
Damn it. I don't have any Hellboy.
You got to at least have Hellboy in Hell.
That's what I've heard.
Because I just said it. I feel like we're going to spend the entire rest of the month lamenting our wallets.
Yeah, totally.
Or
The first week in October is like a regular month.
Yeah. Chewy, what do you want? Sometimes, like, Chewy's eyes are so just out of his head. I feel like I need to just, like, pop them back in.
Oh, fuck, the goddamn hardcover just came out, too. I missed that. I'll worry about that later.
I'm going to have to, like, not buy books that I want.
Yeah, and just hope they're there in a couple months.
It's not fun. Because it's not like September. I was like, oh, I wanted to get the old school Punisher book, and I wanted to get Harley Quinn, but I was like, I can live without them. I'm fine with not getting those. And this month, like October, there's everything I look at. I'm like, I don't think I would be able to survive without that.
No, I agree, because I need the Road Warrior Hulk Omnibus, because I got Planet Hulk.
Yeah, because I'm like, I got Planet Hulk, and I need to get World War Hulk. Like, you can't.
That's not an option to not get it.
No, it's not. There's no choice here. I'm up against a wall, Jess.
I understand. Totally get it.
And then, like, Shang-Chi Master of Kung Fu Volume 4, I have 1 through 3, and I have Deadly Hands 1 and 2. I can't not get 4.
Nope. You got to get it.
The last piece of the puzzle, you got to get it.
And I need Simonson's Thor.
God, thank God I already have that one. Jesus.
And I need the Heroes Reborn Thor.
Yeah.
I have all the other Hero Reborn stuff. I have all the miniseries in trade. I have the Kurt Busiek Avengers Omnibus, and I have the Iron Man Omnibus.
And you'll wind up getting the Captain America one that's from around the same time too, right?
Yeah, the Mark Waid one's going to be coming out pretty soon.
Yeah, I'm going to want that one too. When's that, in December?
I think so. And then when's Dark Side War coming out?
That's pretty soon also, I think. And then the Kyle Rayner trade paperback comes out first week of October, which I need to get. But I never thought they would ever start collecting that run of Green Lantern, because they seem to really kind of ignore Kyle Rayner.
He's the White Lantern.
Yeah. Dark Side
He's
War is the 11th? It's the 11th of October. So, second week of October.
Yeah, I'm both looking forward to and dreading next week. Like, very
Agreed.
strong.
Agreed.
Flash Button comes out, or Batman Flash Button comes out that same week too.
The first week or the second week?
Second week.
Yeah.
But that second week is also, oh no, that's something else. I think that's really it. Good. I might just split this up. No, second week is Hellboy in Hell too. For those of you guys getting Hellboy in Hell. The 18th is I really want to get that Grayson Super Spy Omnibus.
Oh yeah, me too. That was great.
Yeah, that was a really good series.
And the JLA to Nail.
Yep. Classic story.
Yeah, just keep saying how good that is. So. And then November starts off with Clone Saga Volume 2.
Let's see. I've got right now my November first week is not that bad. I'm getting that Black Panther by Reggie Hudlin Volume 1, Deadpool and X-Force Omnibus, Clone Saga Omnibus 2, and Paper Girls hardcover. That's
Oh yeah, I want to get Paper Girls hardcover for sure.
Must.
good shit. Second week, November 8th, I've got Abe Sapien, first hardcover, the Batman and Robin by Tomasi and Gleason Omnibus,
Mm-hmm.
Batman Hush Deluxe Edition, and then several volumes of manga are coming out. Northlanders Volume 3, the European Saga, Star Wars Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir, and there's the Trillium Deluxe Edition. So I'm probably going to wind up dropping a couple of things from that week. And then the only stuff I have for the rest of that month is on the 15th, Cable Hellfire Hunt, which would just be another chunk of like X-Men related stuff, maybe. And Star Wars Legends Epic Collection Rise of the Sith Volume 2, I guess. I think something like that. But so November for me is not really that bad. There's like 3 omnibus and then just a bunch of small stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean that way you could break up your October if you need to, because I don't think any omnibus has gone out of print, any of the newer stuff recently. So I don't think you're going to miss out on anything unless you really, really want that variant cover for Muppet Babies.
Honestly, I'm really upset that I'm not going to be able to get Muppet Babies.
I'm upset that the regular cover is the better cover.
I'm upset that they didn't do a Star Wars cover.
I was looking for a cover that just had Nanny's legs on it. Oh, there's a fucking Demon trade paperback coming out soon too.
What, there is? I didn't know that.
Yep.
Wait, there's a what now?
Demon by Jack Kirby.
Oh, that. Yeah.
And speaking of Jack Kirby, December 6th right now is when the Fourth World Omnibus is due to...
Yeah, that thing's like 1,500 pages or something.
Yeah, it's $150.
Phew.
I'm in. I can't wait to get that.
Yeah, fuck.
That's a must get.
I'm down on that because like those hardcovers, and I think maybe even the paperbacks now are getting pretty difficult to come across.
Yeah, the hardcovers have always, not always been, but for a while now, those hardcover omnibus were really hard to get. They were super. Volume 4, the one with Dark Side on the cover, was always like a $300 book. It felt like.
Even way fucking back when like I first started getting into collected edition books, like, you know, when I had first started getting money to buy them, I could not find those Fourth World books.
Yeah.
That was like probably over a decade ago.
But that's kind of when Omnibus first kind of started coming out, and people were just like, I'm not paying $100 for this. This is stupid. But that Fourth World Omnibus comes out the same week as Mark Waid's Captain America we were talking about. And the X-Men Classic Omnibus.
Oh, I have to get that.
And the Doctor Strange hardcover. Is this that's the Jason A.A. run.
A.A. Ron, you done fucked up, A.A. Ron.
A-Ron. Okan Tanjin 1, Kwanaset, Loji 1. A-Ron.
But yeah, that's gonna be a good. December's got a lot of cool stuff in it. Yeah, that Doctor Strange, Captain America, Descender has a hardcover.
I just bought the trades too. Damn it!
Wildcats Absolute comes out in December too, which
I was originally planning on grabbing that, but in retrospect, I'm like, damn, I'm not gonna be able to afford that.
Oh man, I'm in. I don't care.
I'm taking out a second mortgage. I don't care.
I'm cool. My kids go without diapers for a little bit.
I'm eating nothing but ramen noodles.
I'll just live off of protein shakes for a couple weeks. I'll live.
See, I wish that our budget like works that way, because that would be awesome. Like if I could just not buy food and only buy comics, I'd be so down for that.
Or
like, buy bread and peanut butter for a whole month.
You could do it.
I used to do it like when we first got married and we literally had no money. We used to live on like stolen food and
stolen food.
Dude, I stole bread from work. No shame.
Damn.
Like I had no money. We had nothing. I had ramen noodles, and sometimes if I was like really feeling spendy, I would drop an egg in there.
I remember those days. Yeah.
Man, that was some good shit.
Yeah, I used to like cut up hot dogs in my ramen. That was splurging.
I'd like
in my ramen
because I didn't get the hot dogs all the time, but we always had like lunch meat because I would make sandwiches. So I would chop up the lunch meat and put little like diced pieces of turkey and ham in there.
Mm-hmm. That's living when you're starving.
Yes, that was like the best treat ever. Take bread and toilet paper and paper towels from work, and
well, who hasn't done that?
Yeah, this was the movie theater, so all the bread was just
popcorn.
It was it was hot dog buns. I'd take the hot dog buns because they weren't a counted item, like they were not an item that they would actually count, so I could take them and whatever.
Oh, and they weren't counted in inventory?
Exactly, they were not inventory. That's the word I was looking for. And then the same thing for like popcorn. Obviously, you can't inventory popcorn. So I believe a couple times I took home a trash bag worth of popcorn.
When I was a manager of a movie theater, I used to give trash bags of popcorn out to people all the time.
One of the guys I worked with got he would get, because you also get, you know, free sodas and ices and shit, and so he got like the popcorn bucket. He just bought the bucket for the popcorn and filled it with icy.
That's awesome.
I'm sure
that
it
is awesome.
Already finished it, but like it's just in theory that's awesome, and also that would be a good thing to bring for like bring your own cup day at 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
a good way to pinpoint the moment you got diabetes too.
Oh yeah, it was back when I worked at the movie theater. That's when I got diabetes for sure.
That's like that episode of The Simpsons where they got the Milhouse and Bart got the squishy, and it was just pure syrup.
And they ended up in the Boy Scouts thing.
Yeah, town.
Yeah.
Oh man, good times. The
That was a
struggle
great
was
episode.
real, and you know what? I really enjoyed that time of my life because it just taught me to actually value things that were not stolen from work, and was not just like ramen noodles.
Well, I'm just fortunate that in that time, I didn't have any money. I worked in casinos. Free.
Am I echoing too?
Am I echoing too?
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh,
I also lost so much weight during that time. It was crazy.
yeah. I've been
I
losing.
gained it all back as soon as we had money.
I've been losing weight recently. Bringing it all back with this people. That's a bad idea.
Well, I think I'm gonna skedaddle, but Jess, you're logged in under the account, so like you can still, if you guys still want to shoot the shit for a while and maybe talk crap about me behind my back, you can continue doing that.
I actually need to go too because I need to text my dentist about my tooth.
Is it really bad? Like, is the chip?
It's not a chip.
How bad was it?
It's when these teeth right here and cracked in half.
Jesus Christ!
So it's not hurting yet, but it could. I want to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Hope you
Well, I guess then we'll go ahead and wrap up.
Wrap up this wrap-up show.
Yes. I'm really, thank you guys for joining, and and for everyone for watching. We did talk a lot, and I'm just happy because I know we did cover a lot of spoiler stuff, and it's just nice to know that people were interested in our kind of look at that. And then I know Jess and I did a lot of talking, but I'm glad that Gabe, we got to kind of convince you that it's going to be worth it for you to pick up that issue.
Oh yeah, no, I'm totally in. We'll check it out. Real quick, Rob, does that power? Annual issues in it?
What's up?
The power is on the
Power Rangers?
Is it? No, not Power Rangers. Power.
The one above me?
It's a question about the annual issue of Powers. Is it in the Powers book? Does that Powers Omnibus include the annual issue of Powers?
It says the entire first 37 issue series.
I forgot what was so special about it.
No, it doesn't say that it does. So I'm going to say it doesn't.
I wish that on the bus. Since none of Brian the second volume.
Yeah, Bendis teased the second volume of Powers, but it's not happened. And given the track record of every Bendis omnibus,
That's Daredevil.
Yeah, Daredevil's the only one that actually got a second volume as far as all of his stuff goes. But yeah, I guess it's left out. I mean, that's what the contents says. I haven't read through the issue, or I haven't read through the series. It's one of the stack of books I haven't read because I've kind of been waiting to see if that second volume actually winds up getting solicited. Matt just asked if I'm getting the SNES. No, because no money, and also I already have a Raspberry Pi, so I didn't find it that necessary. Table of contents. There is not a table of contents. It just, in the credits little block, it says contains material originally published in magazine form as powers 1 through 37. Full stop.
Everywhere I'm looking, like Amazon, looking like that, it's just 1 through 32.
So yeah, I don't think it's in there.
Apparently, it's in the hardcover.
Maybe it'll
But
be
was
in the
that part of
second
the
one.
first? Was that part of the first series?
I'm actually trying to look it up right now. No, I don't know because according to my comic shop, ours, shit, maybe because the annual was 2001, the series is 2000. So I don't know where that takes
There's a lot of extra stuff in here. Like there's a. I just flipped through something that has Madman in it, and there's like a coloring book thing.
Okay, here's the real thing. I mean, fuck the annual. But do they have the letter pages in there?
The what now?
The letter pages.
I think I gotta go, guys. I gotta go text my dentist.
Yeah, I gotta wrap up too because I don't think I'm gonna get any better answers for any of this stuff.
Well, cool. Wait, just that taken care of.
Thank you.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't cost you more than you're planning on spending in October.
I'm more worried about the pain. There's no pain yet, so I'd like to keep it that way.
We'll just keep taking those Vicodin.
Yeah.
That root beer too.
Grind it all up into a paste.
Yeah, dude.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
All right, take it easy, dude. And I'll go ahead and start signing off. Again, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for listening to us jabber on about comics that you haven't read, Gabe. And I hope that, I don't know, people enjoyed the views that I went on about for a long time. And maybe we'll check out that issue.
Yeah, I just hope this is Marvel's writing. So there's all echoing. So we can finish this up.
Well, Gabe, I guess just let them know where they can find you, and then I will sign off.
Cool. Well, hey everybody, please check me out on YouTube. Gabe Infinity Watch. Let me know what's up. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll like you a little bit more.
And then, of course, you can find me on this channel or on my own channel where I don't do anything, or on my website where I don't do anything, or you can find me on the Facebook page where I apparently just complain about Rebirth and stuff. But anyway, plan on being back next week, so we'll see you guys then. Same channel, around the same time, hopefully a little bit earlier. And we'll have a fun new topic to go over next time. Y'all have a great night. Adios.